Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of council to order. Acknowledge that the city of Winkler is situated on Treaty 1 land, the home of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories, but acknowledge that harms and mistakes have occurred in the past, but we dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect of all peoples, including Indigenous communities, in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration, moving forward to a harmonious, prosperous future together. Therefore, be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of October 22nd, 2023 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Marvin.
Any changes to this agenda?
One addition. Motion to accept to adopt our Housing Accelerator Fund application.
Okay, thank you. Jody, where would we put that one?
We can just do it in other business.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to add one short in-camera comment as well. Anything else from anybody else? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 8th, 2023 be adopted. Mover?
John Fair.
Second.
Peter.
Any comments in those minutes? All in favor? Carried. Continuing then to our accounts, be it resolved that accounts payable in the amount of $1,825,458.99 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Don Friesen.
As always, our check register is attached. If you have any questions on what you see there.
Just that one Minister of Finance, one error amount, doesn't look like we got it right yet, or what? Anyways, it's not a big deal.
And I know that I saw a couple of corrections there as
Yeah.
well, yes.
Yeah, there was a correction there.
Okay,
Don't have all the details, but I can get
that's
it to
okay.
you.
Anything further? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Transportation and Utility Committee minutes for the August 10th, 2023 minutes be adopted. Mover?
Marvin.
Second.
Andrew?
Marvin, is there anything that you need to bring to our attention out of these?
No, maybe just to summarize a couple of things. We talked about the ongoing concern with the Main Street noise, especially between Mountain and North South Railway, I guess. We're investigating options that include, but not limited to, either speed limits or pedestrian improvements or landscaping or trees and stuff like that. We also would discuss the recycling contract with Gateway Resources and through cost increases and also the number of houses added, that we're looking at increasing the budget. But also the recommendation is to go for a 5-year contract on that one. And those of you who were at the Harvest Festival this weekend and a little bit before and after, you noticed the 3-way stop sign at Park Street and Grandeur, yeah, thank you. It helped to make the Harvest Festival traffic safer and move, I think, in a more equitable and rapid way, because people could just kind of zipper in and move. So that was, we've done traffic studies, and with more than 3,000 vehicles per day on those streets, one option might be to make this permanent if that goes forward. And some other things that we're just beginning to talk a little bit about is whether we should consider, and the City of Winnipeg has done some pilot projects, should we consider some speed reduction on non-collectors, some residential streets. Partly it's because of safety concerns, because we've seen a lot more e-bikes and e-scooters around, and it just gets a lot more dangerous. Studies show that, for instance, somebody that is hit at 50 kilometers or an hour, 2 out of 10 people would survive a hit, and at 40 kilometers an hour, 6 out of 10 people would survive a hit. So that's something that would be seriously worth looking at. And we also discussed there's a kind of an abandoned rail line going south, and what to do with it, whether businesses along there would like to participate in reviving it or not at their expense. And maybe finally, one issue is our Main Street and Highway 32 and 14 and so on, especially Highway 32 and 14 concerns, the intersection concerns with rough roads and turning lanes and so on. Those are provincial highways, but we've expressed concerns, and we're working with them on it, hoping to get things done on that. So just a couple of ideas.
Excellent. Thank you, Marvin. Further comments or thoughts? All in favor?
When will that letter be sent out?
Excuse me. I believe,
Was the industrial spur there?
Okay.
Mhm.
so the answer from staff was shortly. And the reason, of course, I repeat that is our meetings are recorded and broadcast, and not everyone who's in this room is able to hear what is said if they're not at a microphone. Not seeing any other questions. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the MSTW Planning District minutes and reports for July 2023 be received for information. Mover?
Don Fair.
Second.
Don Friesen.
Okay, anything we need to be aware of out of those minutes?
Well, just to highlight some projects, over $1 million. We have upcoming projects is Winkler Meets, Centennial Arena, hopefully this year yet. Winkler Stanley Wastewater, Water Treatment Plant, Morden Wastewater is another thing that's possible this year, and also the Morden Daycare. There's news that might happen, start as well, so. A lot of good projects on the horizon, and yeah, that hasn't slowed down at all.
That's good to hear. Anything else? All in favor? And we're carried. That takes us to delegations and hearings. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings. Mover?
Michael.
Okay.
Peter got it. Michael was a second. All in favor? Carried. We'll then move into public hearing for bylaw 2305-23, zoning bylaw amendment. Jody?
And just for the benefit of people here tonight, if there's anyone here that wishes to speak to one of the public hearings, we just ask that you come up to the podium and to the microphone, give us your name and address, and then you can address your comments towards the chair. So yes, the first hearing that we have today is for the amendment on our zoning bylaw 2271-21. And there's a number of amendments that we've been working on. There's some notes to council there in terms of some of the specific changes. All of these have gone through planning committee first, and now have had first reading and are back here today for second and third.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak to that, either for it or in opposition? Any thoughts, council? As noted in your notes, we can give second and third reading tonight if there are no objections here. I'll move forward then. Be it resolved that the public hearing for bylaw 2305-23 be closed. Mover.
Marvin?
Don Friesen got it. Marvin's got the second. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw 2305-23 zoning bylaw amendment be given second reading. Mover?
Michael.
Second.
Don,
Peter beat you just a little bit, Don.
what do you go, Peter?
Quick.
Any comments? All in favor? Carried. Seeing as how we had no objections, be it resolved that bylaw 2305-23 zoning bylaw amendment be given third reading. Mover.
Don Fair.
Second.
Marvin?
Last comments.
I think just a big shout out to our staff for the countless hours and amount of research they've done to make this easier to navigate for our staff and for the public and so on. So thank you very much for the work that you've done to make this a better document.
Excellent. No further comments. All in favor? And that is carried. We'll continue then, Jody, with variation number VA 2023-17 for 296 Royal Crescent.
Yes, this is a variance application. The applicant is Renos by Jeff on behalf of owners Calvin Gerbrandt and Hilda Gerbrandt at 296 Royal Crescent. The purpose here is to construct a sheltered deck, and the variance requested is to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 20 feet 3 inches in the R1 zone, and our office has not received any objections to this application.
Thank you. Is there anyone here wishing to speak to this? Answering questions potentially. Council, any comments or questions?
Do not.
No concern.
Okay. Be it resolved, the public hearing for variation number VA 2023-017 be closed. Mover.
Andrew?
Second.
Peter?
All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that council approve variation number VA 2023-017. Mover.
Marvin?
Second.
Don Friesen.
Any questions? All in favor? Carried. That will take us to variation number VA 2023-019, Roblin Boulevard East.
2023-019 is an application for variance. Applicant and owners are Icon Technologies. As mentioned, this is at 925 Roblin Boulevard East. The purpose here is to help accommodate shipping functions and proposed, in light of some proposed expansions. The variance is to increase the maximum driveway width from 49.2 feet to 110 feet at the property line and 126 feet at the curb in the SI zone.
Thank you,
No
Jody.
objections on this one.
Appreciate it. Anyone here today to speak to that? Questions answered, maybe if any. Council, any questions?
Don't.
Be it resolved that public hearing for variation number VA 2023-019 be closed. Mover?
Michael.
Second.
Peter?
All in favor? Be it resolved that variance VA 2023-019 be approved, subject to the driveway access to Icon Drive may only be constructed after the rerouting of the creek is considered by the city to be complete in accordance with the Clover Creek Industrial Park Drainage Plan Report, project DR 16-08-R2, and the 23-foot wide temporary one-way service drive exit as shown on the proposed site master plan drawing. A 1.0 must be removed to the satisfaction of the city within 30 days of the construction completion of the new shipping docks driveway access to Icon Drive, and after Icon Drive is constructed and becomes serviceable at the discretion of the city. Mover.
Don Fair.
Second.
Marvin?
Michael got that one? I would ask, Scott, the proponents are aware of this condition on? Okay. Our staff tells us the proponents are aware of it, proponents are in the room and are not objecting. Do council have any further questions?
Like this? Okay. I'm just confused why the land east of it is part of this whole thing.
Is there, points to it. I think the land east is, this is overall part of that access to highways, which is why long-term,
Yes,
this becomes a part of it,
Okay,
yep.
because it leads to the next phase, I believe.
okay.
Okay, not seeing anything further. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that public hearings be adjourned and regular council reconvene. Mover.
Peter?
Second.
Don?
All in favor? Carried.
If you refresh, Henry, you should have the new resolution.
I do in fact have it, thank you. Continuing then to other business, Resolution 2023-0301. There are a number of whereases. I will let you read those as we go, or would you prefer, Jody, with this being an added item that I run
Might
through
be
the
good.
whereases?
They're short.
Okay. In this situation, I will run through the whereases then. Whereas the CMHC is accepting applications for the Housing Accelerator Fund, and whereas housing has been identified as a significant need within the city of Winkler, therefore be it resolved that the city of Winkler support and approve the CMHC Housing Accelerator Fund application that was submitted on August 18, 2023 for potential funding support of approximately $18.9 million to contribute to increasing housing starts within the city of Winkler. Mover?
Merman?
Second.
Todd Friesen.
Don, thank you very much. This program has approximately $4 billion available for all of Canada on an application basis. Our staff have worked very hard to put together a really good application, I believe, supported with a housing needs assessment that we retained to help do that. Ultimately, it shows a need of approximately $18.9 million worth of support. Were we to get anywhere near that, I think we would be ecstatic. But
If
either
I
way,
may
the
just
application is in.
expand on that a little bit. The way that that number comes to be is that the application comes with a spreadsheet that has a calculator that calculates your eligibility for funding based on the projected number of housing starts. So it's an eligibility, like you said, we'd be happy to receive a portion of that, but, and it does depend to some extent on what actually happens in the 3-year program.
Correct. Any thoughts or counsel?
Yeah, still lots of details to get through yet,
Correct.
but
And as
the
with most programs, to be able to have it is
let's apply, yeah.
absolutely. All in favor? That is carried. That brings us to our community spotlight today. We'll invite the Winkler Chamber of Commerce to come up and make their presentation.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us tonight. So I'm
Tanya.
here with our,
Tanya, with this being a recorded meeting, I'd love for you to start with name and your job with the chamber.
put him on the spotlight with me. So I'm Tanya Shaltonoff. I'm the Executive Director with the Winkler and District Chamber of Commerce.
Hank Fraze, I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce.
So I just want to start off today by saying thank you to the City of Winkler for all of the previous support that we've received, you know, not just through funding, but through many different ways. And without it, we would not be able to serve our business community at the capacity that we have. The foundation of what we do is consistent at the Chamber, but we must always be ready to shift, pivot, and address current needs of our business community. The support we receive from the city allows us to do that successfully. So as a Chamber of Commerce, we strive to contribute to the growth of Winkler and prosperity of Winkler's economy by connecting businesses, supporting entrepreneurs, advocating for business interests, promoting tourism and events, and fostering workforce development. Our board is made up of a group of business leaders and entrepreneurs who promote the interest of their local business community, proudly providing an avenue to use their collective voice when influencing local, provincial, and national issues and/or policies. We actively advocate for the interest of our members, promoting business initiatives and addressing challenges faced by our community. So we are coming to the end of our multi-year strategic plan. I can outline that a little bit if you'd like, but we are looking forward to implementing a new one in 2024. And so presenting to council today gives us the opportunity to request any feedback or seek your input towards that as well. So just to give you an idea, some of our future plans include continued and expanded wage surveys amongst different sectors in our community. As always, we will continue to focus on board diversity. Some of our current board members will be timing out, which means they've enjoyed staying on the board so long that they're just timing out, and we need to have some new people step in. And luckily, we've had many expressions of interest from business people in Winkler who are really eager to join our board, so we take that as a really great sign. So we also are going to be looking to encourage our members to take part in the cost reduction programs that we offer, and we do that in partnership with the Canadian Chamber and the Manitoba Chambers. And one of those, the most beneficial we are focused on right now is our Chambers Group Insurance Plan. Do you want me to go into a brief outline about what our current strategic plans are, or how are you feeling about that?
I think probably we'd be okay on that.
Sure.
Looking forward in terms of what you're looking to build and what that
Yeah.
could look like, I think would
Sure.
help a lot.
So I'll just give you an idea of some of the things that we've accomplished over the last 3 years as a board. So one of the biggest things we noted was that we really wanted to be a great resource for the business community. So what we did was looked at focusing and establishing a toolkit for our members. And this can be found under our resources page of our website, and using that to kind of guide us along the way in how we can, assist our members. And also, we wanted to focus on new and innovative ways to help our employees to gain, train, and retain their employees. We also struck a technology task force, and that was really just to focus on our, we're living in a technology era, so we wanted to really be able to communicate with our members in a more clear and concise way. So we updated our e-news format. We really streamlined what we put in there. We created a new website, which we're very proud of. And lastly, we also completed a social media audit with plans to grow our reach and interactions, and we've done that tremendously in the last year. So it's been a really great tool for us and for our members. And finally, we have an intentional connections task force. This was probably the most difficult because, as we know, there is a shortage of employees, so business owners don't really have the time to just sit down and talk about what's going on, but our goal was to connect with as many members as we could to gain a better understanding of their needs. We would use those conversations to identify top priorities and create action items around those. And then we also look to create member-to-member connection avenues. I'm so proud to say that we've had a great first half of 2023 with many initiatives and events planned for the remainder of the year. It's going to be a very busy fall. So I hope you all had an opportunity to review the mid-year report that was circulated. Hank and I now invite you to ask any questions or provide feedback. And just thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Firstly, the Chamber is a vital piece of our local community, because we know that without jobs, without business, without economic growth, very little else can happen. So we're proud of the work that you're doing, and please continue to do that. It is important work, it's vital work, and it's despite the fact that you'll be leaving us here at City Hall due to our own needs, we want to be able to continue that relationship in a very positive, productive way.
Thank you.
Comments from council?
I don't think so.
Jody and I had an opportunity to go for breakfast with Tanya and your chair, and at that point in time, I think the request was to consider, because of the fact that there will be an increase in your financial needs with having a different place to be, there would be a hope that there would be a 3-year funding agreement. Was that kind of what we took from that?
Yep.
At the existing level, but the request would be for 3 years of commitment.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, as we head into our fall planning session, obviously we'll hear that again and we'll need to discuss that further.
Perfect. And just in closing, I just want to invite you guys to reach out to us at any time if you have questions, concerns, feedback, ideas, anything you want to share with us. We're always here for that feedback and any collaboration, so thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your presentation today. Hank, I don't see you for months at a time, and then today we're everywhere together. That's it. Okay, good. After this, I'm heading home. I don't find you. I hope I don't find you there. Either way, thank you very much for what you do as a board, and Tanya as staff in the support that you do for our business community. It's appreciated. Then, be it resolved that the regular meeting of council recess for the purpose, did I miss questions from the media or public?
Yes, you did.
I am very, very
We were gonna
sorry.
move that.
I skipped that a little bit,
Yeah.
my apologies. Wondering if there's any questions from media or public relevant to this meeting of council. And I see three gentlemen there.
Yeah, we're under the impression there was something to be brought up about a zoning variance regarding the front of GBC. We're hoping to construct a picnic shelter in the front yard of that building.
Okay,
And of course, that's against the bylaw to be close to the principal curb, so we were under the impression that there was.
that was on today's agenda.
Yeah, we received an email from the planning committee stating something like that.
I can clarify.
If you could, please, Scott. And the question was specifically with regard to shelter at Garden Valley Collegiate and the thought that that might be on the agenda today. Scott?
So that was covered under the zoning bylaw amendments that were in place. Currently in the institutional zone, accessory buildings are not, weren't permitted in the front yard in the institutional zones. With the zoning bylaw amendments that took place, the designated officer may approve accessory buildings to be located within the front yard of institutionally zoned properties. So for the project that you're referring to at GBC, you guys are proposing to construct an accessory, like a shelter in the front yard. It makes a lot of sense. That would, I have actually already approved this. Well, I will be approving this first thing tomorrow morning is what will be done. All the paperwork will be sent tomorrow. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
As mentioned, a worthwhile project. It's something that's, since we've seen those plans initially, was really exciting for us when we found out that our own rules actually wouldn't allow that to happen. That was part of the reason that we adjusted them today. Scott wasn't able to approve it until we made the change here today. As he's already mentioned to you, we'll take care of the rest of the formality of that tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Do we have any questions online, Wendy? No, we do not. We will then move forward. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding an in-camera discussion. Mover?
Peter?
Peter, second.
Andrew?
All in favor? Carried. We will thank everybody for joining us this evening and wish you a good rest of the evening.